Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Just thought I would pop in and talk to you about what's going on in the planets and the stars. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for February 6th through 8th, 2020. So we're heading into this very potent, powerful full moon in Leo. I'm sure you're feeling it. A lot of fire energy when we haven't had a lot of that in the last couple of months. And this is a super activating time because the way the planets are lining up for this Leo full moon. The Leo full moon itself is in an inconjunct relationship to Saturn and Pluto. That's across the way in the zodiac, but one sign over. And that's about an adjustment that needs to be made. So when we're looking at this, we're getting some clarity and some information and some nudges from the universe about what this Saturn-Pluto energy is about. And the Saturn-Pluto thing has really been about breaking down our life and breaking down the structures of who we thought we were, the structures of our life, what we thought we were doing, where we thought we were going to be. Who knows? It's affecting everybody individually, but also collectively. The structures of our world being completely dismantled in order to build something better. And that's kind of the weird place we're at. It's like, okay, all this stuff is falling away. Why? And what are we going to replace it with? Are we just being annihilated into nothing? Or are we moving in to a whole new chapter? That's where this Leo energy comes in, because this Leo is the sun, and it's about expressing your light and shining your light and creative expression and full expression of the truth of who you are. And that's what the adjustment is here. That all that's happening and has been happening in the astrology is about us living more true to who we really are. Now, that's a lot of the energy also of Chiron in Aries. And Chiron in Aries has been joined by Black Moon Lilith, and Venus in just a couple of days on the 8th will move over the Aries point, a rebirth of the feminine. But right there, coming into conjunction with Chiron, the wounded healer, and Black Moon Lilith, representing the distortions and the dark side of the feminine, and the confusion of the feminine, the shadows of the feminine, the sickness of the feminine. And right there with Chiron, the wounded healer, deep psychic healing is available around our feminine nature. At the same time, we've got Mars massively activated as it comes close to the Galactic Center. So for this full moon, Mars is very close already in a conjunction with the Galactic Center. We've been waiting for this since November. Jupiter and Venus went over together, and it activated Mercury, the sun going over the Galactic Center. Now, finally, Mars has caught up and is going over the Galactic Center. Now, the Galactic Center is an energy that's mysterious, and it's a pull, a vibrational pull, a destiny energy. And that's so interesting because that's been a big theme that's come up a lot in the messages come in the astrology of like, yeah, follow the pull, feel your way along, because it is not clear what's happening. We can't see where we're going or what we need to happen. Maybe that's because we're shifting so rapidly on other levels. We can't make plans. We can't figure out what we're doing with our life. And it's very disconcerting because here we have this destiny pull, because when Jupiter and Venus went over the Galactic Center, then we had that massive total solar eclipse on the day after Christmas. Of course, we had that Mercury retrograde that was still going on in Scorpio. And it's all been about like a galactic activation of us rearranging who we think we are. Maybe that's the Saturn Pluto, like Pluto from the depths of space is like talking to Saturn, which represents the physical world, time, manifested reality. And it's kind of like, yeah, no, it doesn't line up. You know, the life we're living here on Earth does not fit the truth of us in the greater, wider cosmos. And it can only go on for so long. But when this is like a divine timeline alignment potentially for certain souls right now, and maybe collectively. And when that happens, though, it can be quite traumatic, bring a lot of changes and a lot of disruption and a lot of confusion. And so here we are feeling our way along, and yet we're being asked to commit fully in total devotion to our quest, to our spiritual purpose right now. As Mars completes this Galactic Center activation and goes over the Galactic Center, as it comes into a trine with this full moon in Leo. So now the full moon in Leo in that inconjunct to Saturn and Pluto, saying that there's an adjustment that needs to be made, which has to do with shining our light, expressing ourselves, and it's also a masculine energy, this energy of standing up for ourselves and being able to take action in the world, and our will and our protecting ourselves, our boundaries. So that's on the table right now. And so then we have Mars is one sign over exactly from Saturn and Pluto. So Mars and trine to the moon, and they're both in relationship to Saturn and Pluto. So this full moon is everything about what just happened to us with this Saturn-Pluto conjunction. And they're still close for this full moon. They're only 2 degrees apart. So we're officially still in conjunction. And it's kind of like, what is this about? This is an activation of our greater destiny. An activation of the light. We came here to shine, but we've been hiding because of what's happened to us in past lives. Perhaps our fear of our potential, perhaps being invalidated again and again and again by the people around us. And that's the interesting energy right now, is that there's a lot of souls that follow this work that have been questioning, feeling like they have a greater purpose and they're here for a reason, but questioning this because the people around them are invalidating it. They don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to them. And so these souls being like, I feel like there's something bigger I need to do, but then it's a message of like, oh, you just think you're better than everybody else, and just get serious and just deal with life and make your money and do what you're supposed to do and stay in your box, right? And now these souls are getting a massive divine destiny, divine timeline quest activation. And it's like a 180-degree turn with this energy right now of going like, well, I think maybe I might be here for something, to like just total dedication, full bore ahead, and here we go. So this is a big shift, and when these soul groups have this activation type energy happen, it affects the whole collective. We're leading the way in this spiritual activation. It's funny because we always feel like we're waiting around for something. So here we are, and the stars are telling us what we're waiting around for us to stand up for ourselves, get some boundaries, get a backbone, and take some action in the world that's true to our true self. And so incredibly powerful energy. We've got also exact Chiron has been one sign over exactly from Uranus, and that's a semi-sextile as well, just like Mars is to Pluto and Saturn. The sun is in this next couple of days, the sun is exactly one sign over from Neptune. And so again, we've got these beautiful geometry, like building a star, kind of like maybe the message is like, it's time to get out of the box and activate into the star that we are. But of course, when those divine timeline, those adjustments come in, which it seems like it's like we got that divine timeline activation with the Galactic Center, Saturn, Pluto representing what needs to leave and break down and be changed and adjusted and dismantled, leaving us incredibly vulnerable and clueless about what's going on. And yet here we have the next bookend of this destiny activation. And it's the male time for us to incarnate that will, that strength, that drive, that ability to believe in ourselves and take the steps that need to be taken, even though they're not quite clear yet, right? But anyway, and then we have this incredible divine feminine activation going on, just like healing all of the shame that's been programmed in the feminine. And of course, we started that back in October with that Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. Now, Mercury's already in shadow, getting ready for its next retrograde in Pisces that starts on February 17th. So really powerful energies. That happens to be President's Day this year. And so maybe some messages here around, and with US Pluto return, maybe some messages around a restructuring in the political sphere as well. So very powerful and interesting times, and be gentle with yourself. With the Sun in Aquarius and Mars in Sagittarius on the Galactic Center in trine to this full moon, it's a lot of very powerful activating energies, and really, really important to just be gentle with yourself, take care of yourself, rest when you need to, and fortify yourself, because there is massive DNA changes, things like this happening on a cellular level. So really important to take care of ourselves. So hopefully you can join me for the full moon live activation for the full moon in Leo. It's going to be a big one. And I recently had the question, what is an activation? So an activation is basically a guided meditation where we together can check in with these energies, receive healing, receive guidance, and clearings and healings, and kind of get in tune with the energies of this potent and powerful time that we live. And so that's going to be happening at noon Mountain Time in the US on Saturday, February 8th. This is exactly 12 hours before the exact time of the full moon. So really great time to just set and tap into the energies. Of course, it doesn't work in every time zone. If you can't make it to the live activation, know that your intention to join, signing up, gets your questions answered, the messages coming through in the way that you can receive them, and that energy will be encoded for you on the replay whenever you can get to it. And the same link you sign up takes you right to the replay right after the event. So I hope you'll consider joining for that full moon activation, Leo full moon activation, and I look forward to seeing you there or on the next update. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful, heart-opening, cosmic, sacred marriage within Leo full moon, and we'll see you on the other side. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.